gratitude, and then we'll do about 5 minutes of movement, and then more on the art of gratitude, a little deeper than at the beginning, and then about 5 more minutes of movement, and then more discussion on the art of gratitude, a little more movement, a meditation, and then we're going to end with a YouTube. So after the meditation, I'll sound the cymbals, and if you open your eyes, you'll be able to watch the YouTube. So I invite everyone to kind of stay for the whole thing. Some like movement, some like the speaking. I do both together because we all learn in different ways. Some of us hear, some of us feel, some of us experience, and sometimes throwing all that together can really help appreciate what the theme is about. So when we think of art, the word art, what is it exactly? Well, it's an expression, right? It's an expression of our creativity. Sometimes it takes practice to really get the art right if we're creating it ourselves. And it has balance and it has form, and then we appreciate it as well. What's gratitude? Well, it could be that state of the awareness of gifts, right? The world is full of gifts, and being aware of it is gratitude to a certain extent. It's a type of thankfulness, but it's really more than just thankfulness, right? And in many ways, we might say that gratitude is a measure of our aliveness. So Deepak Chopra said, gratitude opens the door to the power, wisdom, creativity of the universe. So we open doors through gratitude. It's really a way of healing. It's a way of getting to compassion. So when we put together the whole thing, the art of gratitude, what can that be? It's really an appreciation, a growing, a nurturing of all of the gifts that we have, that we don't really know that we have, and we live it, we breathe it. It becomes a way of our life. And in many ways, the art of life is gratitude. So there's an extreme example of a person. Some of you may have seen his YouTube. It's Nick Vujicic. And he's a gentleman that was born with no arms or legs, just this little foot. And watching this man, he's about 30 years old now, is just amazing. He can use that little foot, and he can walk around, he can get around. And when he was a kid, when he wanted to go faster, he used a skateboard to zoom around. And to see him get in and out of a pool with no arms and legs, it is just artful. He's a great swimmer, and he's figured out really how to adapt. So he became a motivational speaker. I mean, you can imagine how motivating. He was bullied as a kid. An easy target to be bullied, right? Kids can be kind of cruel. And he grew from that, and he learned from that. And he sometimes had over 100,000 people in his audience, whether live or virtual. And pre-pandemic, people would just come up to him and hug him all the time. Can you imagine this person with no arms or legs just being hugged by all of these people who were so grateful for the message that he brought? It's easy to sometimes forget how grateful we are until you see someone of so extreme of an example. And he said, you couldn't give me enough to have arms and legs now. I don't want them because I can accomplish more than what most people can accomplish. And I am so grateful for the gifts that I have. Wow. Wow, yeah. So some say that nothing new can come into our lives unless we're grateful for what we already have. And so often we take for granted for what we have. We think of what we don't have, and we become resentful. And just like a virus, it taints all that's really good. So another example, I try to watch TV shows that I can find something spiritual that comes out of it. And at first I thought the Queen's Gambit was going to be a stretch here. But there was a spiritual message to it. And it's about a young woman who grows up in an orphanage. Talented, brilliant woman. And she meets up with the janitor. She'd like to go to the basement and see all the things that the janitor would do. And he had a chessboard there on his table. And he taught her how to play chess. It also just so happened that in this orphanage, they gave the children quaaludes to help them go to sleep. Quaaludes help you go to sleep, but they also help you hallucinate. So she would see a chessboard in the sky, and she would be able to play mental chess in the air under that influence. She would then go down to the janitor's basement, and she and the janitor would really play games, and he realized how brilliant she was. Once she got out of the orphanage, she got adopted when she was a teenager. She got out of the orphanage and she started playing chess against men. She was the only woman that was really actively competing at that time, and she would beat one person after another, and she would make local competitions and then national competitions. And she did have a problem with drugs and alcohol, though. So sometimes when she was about to really win one of her biggest matches, she'd sometimes fall off the wagon and go off on a binge and sometimes lose that championship. But then she'd have friends that would pick herself back up. She'd win and win and win and win. And then someone came to her and said the janitor passed away. They went to the funeral. And she went down to the basement to just revisit that basement. And there was the table where the chessboard was, and that brought so many memories of gratitude for this man for her. And then she looked at a billboard. And there was a billboard with thousands of newspaper clippings of her. And they were of her as she was growing up, becoming champion after champion after champion. And in that moment, she realized that she and the janitor were exchanging gratitude for each other. And it also helped her realize that she had a purpose, that he was living in some way through her. He realized that he had in some way created her, made her great, and living that way and seeing her, she realized what deep gratitude and appreciation meant. She stayed off the wagon, and she beat the world champion, who was a Russian, and became the world champion. So yeah, great story. I like it. So we don't give gratitude, we choose it. Okay? We might give thanks, but we choose gratitude. And it's more complex than an emotion, really. We feel it, but oftentimes it comes with a set of circumstances. Okay? And it helps drive out toxic feelings, because it's hard, right? To feel both grateful and something else, resentment, anger. Oftentimes, those two things, it's really hard to feel both at the same time. So, I'd like to go with our first Qigong exercise. I always start out with the first one, which is meant to drive out toxins, right? Drive out any anger or resentment you may feel. So I encourage you to stand up. And first take a deep breath. And we're not going to be doing much movement. We're just going to kind of be doing all of this movement standing in place. But remember to stand firm. So feet slightly apart, knees slightly bent, back straight. And remember to just take a deep breath first. Like a strong tree standing in a stream. Feeling strong. And I'm going to ask you to just rub your hands You know, it's cold out there. There was snow this morning. Let's create a little heat in our hands. Let's get those ions going. Let's get that electrical energy going. And Qigong and many other forms of medicine are about moving energy, right? Moving energy. Unsticking whatever may be stuck. Okay? Acupuncture does that, acupressure does that, cardiac surgery does that. Okay? Now, just take one hand and just tap the top of your head. Very so lightly. Symbolically, we're unsticking, overthinking with your head, over-worrying with your head. You're just sort of freeing your head to just give up overthinking. If we're talking about unsticking energy, strokes happen when blood vessels are clotted and narrowed. So let's just think about letting the blood flow in our head. Remembering to breathe deeply all the time and clearly. The next tap is with both hands on, above, below your eyes. And this is a set of sinuses here. So kind of the cheekbone, reminding us, as we're thinking of the art of gratitude, to keep our eyes open. Open, look and see. I know mine are closed right now, but this is how I think. Oh, and the sinuses. During this time of the year, we have clogged sinuses a lot, right? Colds, hopefully not the flus, but sometimes just that dry air. So let's just think about clearing those sinuses, opening those eyes. Then behind the ears, let's tap there ever so slightly. Thinking of opening our ears. And sometimes when we're on an airplane and our ears are clogged, sometimes tapping here and putting pressure here along with moving your jaw helps open that eustachian tube. But hearing all that we have to be grateful for, and remembering to get rid of anything that may be stuck, any anger, any words that you might have heard that make you angry, just tap it away and get rid of it. Let it go now. This is your 5 minutes to let go of any stuff that no longer serves you. Now, down to the thymus here. And remember to breathe here. This is where a lot of stuck anxiety is. Sometimes when we say words that we wish we wouldn't have said, when we hold our voice when we wish we would have said something, or just where things get stuck. Unstick it. Open the passages so you can speak your truth. And open your heart so you can appreciate everything that's out there. Now we're going to take both hands and go to our back just above where our kidneys are. And we're just going to tap on those kidneys where the adrenal glands are, the kidneys are. The adrenal glands are responsible for cortisol, all kinds of things, the fight or flight hormones. The kidneys, of course, cleanse out toxins, clear those out. This is also where anger sometimes builds, back pain. So get rid of any anger. To the front, tapping the belly, the fire in the belly. This is where passion is. is also where anger, fear can develop. Let that go. Let that go. And now I'm going to encourage you with your knees and with your hands down, just a little bouncing. And just think of clearing everything out and just push everything down, anything down that doesn't serve you. Think of your circulation flowing through your body, and anything that doesn't serve you, just push out through your feet. Bounce it out through your feet. Bounce it off of your fingertips. Just give it to the universe. The universe can have it and can really handle it. Just let it go. Just let it go. Just let it go. And breathe, remember to breathe. Now with those arms up and with the wrist dangling, continue to bounce. Continue to bounce, feeling the circulation from your fingertips, through your body, down your toes. Feel your lungs clearing as you breathe deeply. As you oxygenate your body through movement. Movement, life. Movement in gratitude. Grateful that you could move like this. Okay. Come slower and slower and slower and slower and stop with your hands still above your head, your palms facing down. Slowly bring your hands down. Feeling calm, open. Bring your hands to your heart. Give thanks to yourself. And have a seat. So, Diane Bass wrote a book called Grateful. And she wrote it, what inspired her to write it, is she had a hard time writing those thank you notes that were a requirement of her parents. She just thought they were so shallow. And I get it, Thank you to someone that I had to invite to my wedding that I really don't know, and I'm saying thank you for the toaster oven. I can understand that. I can understand how she might not really fully appreciate that. And then as she studied gratitude, she started understanding shallow versus deep gratitude. And it really happened when someone wrote her a note. And it was more than just a thank you note. But in that note, the person expressed not just thank you, but deep gratitude. So what a difference between thank you for the toaster oven and I cannot tell you how deeply grateful I am for your friendship. You take time out for me. You have gone out of your way to welcome me into your home. And I am deeply grateful. That is just so different. And that's how she got to understand gratitude and how she wrote a whole book about it. So gratitude is social too, right? So the second part of the talk is about society and us living within it. So it is social, right? We live gratitude with and for and about other people, okay? And an example of that, right, is when a neighborhood loses a dog. Somebody loses a dog, right? Or worse yet, a child. And the whole community goes out there in search of this dog or in search of this lost child. And emotions are running really, really high. And you finally find this lost dog or this lost child. And the emotions come flooding, right? I mean, it's all kinds of things. It's relief, it's joy, and it is gratitude, particularly on the part of the parent, the dog owner, but then it's gratitude and appreciation for everyone that helped you. And it becomes very emotional. And usually, in times of deep gratitude, we feel this need for emotional contact, for hugs. But here we are, we're in a pandemic, right? We can't hug right now. So that makes it hard for a lot of people, particularly at Thanksgiving time. So we've got that trigger. Sometimes when we feel gratitude, we have this trigger for this need for personal contact, and what do? And someone said that feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. How true that is. How true that is. So we're in a pandemic at Thanksgiving. So part of, I guess, the art of gratitude is timing and learning how to express gratitude differently. It's not going to be around that big Thanksgiving table. It's not going to be about hugging all the people that you used to hug before. But how is it? I was going to do small little gratitude dinners, but now this month I'm not even going to do that. But there are ways, obviously, that we can express gratitude. And it's been said that some people are expressing it now more in the pandemic than ever. Some folks are having more Zoom calls and more contacts with people than they used to pre-pandemic. It's not the same as a hug for sure. But maybe some of those deep gratitude notes, those deep gratitude phone calls, those deep gratitude walks with a friend, those deep gratitude Zoom calls, we can still do during this month, and we can appreciate it while we are meditating. We can hone our meditation skills. There's all kinds of things that we can do in this month, in addition to taking care of our bodies and ourselves. And I'm sorry, as a nurse, I always have to bring that in. Remember to get out there, breathe fresh air, appreciate Mother Earth, and breathe deeply while you're outside, okay? So now what about society? There's a societal theorist, I'd call him, Jeremy Engels. And he says about society that the urgent question before us in the U.S. today is how to create a vigorous, non-resentful, democratic community. He says that the art of gratitude has the capacity for growing ourselves, strengthening democracy, striving for the greatest good by growing gratitude as we work to fix flaws. That's a lot. That's a lot. So what if we declared gratitude as a core value in the United States? You know, along with freedom, equality, but gratitude. And if we practice finding ways to be gratitude about people and opinions on the other side, rather than our thinking in extremes, because in so many ways, so many of us really are kind of in the middle. If we take this idea and appreciate it from one side, and this idea and appreciate it, and really look at them and try to understand them, and be grateful for both viewpoints. Really, this year, I'm very grateful that we've had checks and balances in place. I mean, in so many ways, we complain about them, but checks and balances have really served the United States really well in so many ways and served the world in so many ways. So many of you may have heard of Joe Biden. So when he was young, you may recall that his wife, age 30, and his daughter, age 1, died in a car accident, and his 2 sons survived. Fast forward a little more in the future, his son, at age 46, just as he was about to be deployed to Iraq, he was a captain in the Army, or a captain in the the National Guard, the Army National Guard, he died of brain cancer. And somehow, Mr. Biden was able to pull himself up, go through his grief various times in his life, express gratitude for what he had, pick himself up, marry Jill, express gratitude for Jill, express gratitude for all who have helped him. And then in January 11th, 2017, President Obama gave Joe Biden the Presidential Medal of Freedom with distinction after 45 years of service. And so this was a time when Obama's presidency was over, and he was now going to turn things over to the next president. And this was his time to express gratitude to the country and to his partner, who served with him for 8 years. And Joe Biden didn't expect this. He just thought it was going to be some other meeting. And it was really touching, if you watch that YouTube, of the two of them embracing. They could embrace back then, and expressing deep gratitude for what they accomplished together. And the nation watched, and everyone in that room watched, and also expressed their gratitude to them. So it helped connect the nation and the world who actually saw that video of those vulnerable men, strong men, powerful men, crying in front of the world. Nothing wrong with crying. So combining deep gratitude with the power of the heart, is that what really will help heal and connect our nation and the world? With that, I'd like to invite you to stand up. For the next exercise. This one is going to be a lot slower. Remember, feet slightly apart, knees slightly bent. Remember to breathe and be that strong tree standing in the stream. And now these are going to be slow poses and some very slow movement intended for healing, intended to open our heart in gratitude, intended to practice the art of gratitude. And slowly raise up your hands so that they're about chest level, and open up your arms as wide as they can go, sticking your chest out, taking a deep breath, and putting your heart out there to the world, opening it up to the world, making yourself vulnerable, but also bringing in the love of everyone else and appreciating that. Stretch those arms. Imagine that heart reaching out. And now take those arms and put them behind your back. You might have to lower them, palms up behind you. And stretch those arms. Bring the palms as high up as they can go and feel that stretch. This is also a bit of a stretching exercise. And take your head and bend it to one side as you're feeling that stretch. And yes, this is to help feel gratitude in another direction, but as we're all sitting at computers, sometimes we have neck pain, just shoulder strain, and just moving our head then to the other side. We can sometimes help release things just by moving things differently than how we have been sitting in an isolated position. Move the head to the other side. And slowly move the head to the other side. Back to the center. And take those arms, bring them out to the front of you, and form a big circle, clasping your fingers with your palms out. Okay, that's a little different than sometimes what we normally do. So your palms are out, and you're stretching that forearm. You're stretching that forearm, and that's another kind of exercise that sometimes gets done with folks that have been doing too much typing, right? Do that stretching there, because sometimes you might have some pain in your wrist. But what we're also doing, we are embracing the world with love. We are embracing the world with gratitude. And remember, you just opened your heart. So you're giving your heart to the world. Keep those hands as they are, but now roll up your arms, still holding onto your fingers, palm up. Feel that stretch. Keep breathing. And imagine those palms giving the love from your heart through your hands up into the universe in gratitude. Then, keeping one hand up, but not twisting that palm, so it's up towards the ceiling. Take the other hand, slowly bring it down, and point the palm to the ground. And hold this position, because we are connecting the heavens and the earth symbolically with you as the channel. But what we're also doing is we're stretching from the tip of one finger to the tip of the other finger, and breathing and opening our channels. And imagine you as that channel, bringing in light from up above, channeling through you, strengthening you, and giving it to Mother Earth. And reverse that order. Slowly take those hands, palm down with one, palm up with the other. Qigong's all about balance too. So is Tai Chi. A channel for the heavens and the earth. In this time, channel energy from Mother Earth, that nurturing energy, channeling through you this vehicle of love and gratitude, and giving it out to the universe, while increasing the flow of health through you. Take the hand that's down, hold both up, and let's do one sweeping circle down, Bend your knees. Scoop up to the earth. Bring your hands together, holding the gifts of Mother Earth that you are appreciating in gratitude. Give them up to the universe. And as before, with your palms down, slowly bring your hands down in healing, light, and love to your heart, expressing deep gratitude for all the gifts that surround you. And have a seat. Whew. So, I opened up my eyes today to two gifts. My eyes. Yeah. And lo and behold, my eyes saw today. What a beautiful day. There's never been one like this before. This is a new day, right? I've never seen one like this before. So when we see everything through the eyes of gratitude, all of a sudden, everything becomes more joyful and we become more present. We become here and now. We're not stuck in the past. We're not dreaming about the future, but we're appreciating the here and the now. So through the eyes of gratitude, we shift, right? And we shift into this higher vibration, this higher frequency. And it helps us make sense of the past, the present, and the future. Okay, as when we see the gifts of the past that maybe we didn't appreciate before, it's like, now I see. Now I understand why I got this gift that I didn't really think was a gift. Now I get it. And we appreciate the present now, and it helps us appreciate the future. It puts everything into context, really. So many of us know of Maslow. He's a psychologist. He talks about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And it first starts out with the basics of survival and safety. And, the higher part of the pyramid talks about self-actualization. But he also talks about the essence of awe, A-W-E. A-W-E. And he talks about that as an emotion of transcendence. And it's that peak experience when we finally realize that everything is all interconnected and is a gift to everyone and everything else. And that the universe is really just a unified whole. Okay? And so when you think about it that way, we live in this circle of infinite gratitude, right? Our ancestors gave us life. They gave us that gift of life. So we're grateful for that. We gave the gift of life to our children, of friendships to our friends, they to their friends. We help each other in many different ways. Mother Earth gives the plants water, nurturing soil, which grows us food, which helps grow us because we eat them. We are all interdependent in giving each other gifts every single day, every single moment. And it's sometimes hard to remember that every day. So, except for this year, for the last few years, I've gone to Door County with a group of friends. And at the end of the day, we make this ritual of walking out to the western part of this area of Door County that overlooks Lake Michigan. And it's a great place to view the sunset. And lots of other folks had discovered this little park. It's a tiny, tiny little park with rocks all around the seashore and rocks up on the park. And when you get there, if it's not quite sunset, there's a buzz of people talking. And as you get closer to the sunset, the buzz gets lower and lower and lower, and more people take their seats in silence. It's kind of like going to the Church of the Earth in some ways. Some people sit on the rocks, and then as the sun is coming down lower and lower and lower, there is silence. And you may have 50 people here watching in this small little area as we watch in silence, in awe of that sky, of that sun, of that water, of the rocks, of the earth, and all these people on the same wavelength at the same time. And then the sun goes down into the water, which is always spectacular, right? Just like when you go to the ocean. And then the buzz starts a little bit, still slowly, and then it starts and starts and starts and starts. And as people are walking away, people start getting more ecstatic and happy, and they all go on with their own lives. Such a simple thing. Such a really simple thing. You know, so it is those little things that we have to remember. And when we look back on our lives, it's those little things when we are on our deathbed that we realize are really the big things in life. We realize now how really big hugs on our Thanksgiving are. And we're really going to appreciate them next year. And I really appreciate being able to be on a road trip with friends, although that was just common last year. It's going to really be different this year. I'm going to really appreciate this. So we have a lot to be grateful for. Our health for today, friendships, the predictability of the earth, the stars, the moon. You know, there is a lot that's predictable. There's a lot that we can learn and we can appreciate. So let's just be and stay spiritually aware of all of those gifts while we do our next exercise. So I encourage you to stand up. And we're going to stand strong. And slowly lift our arms. And turn to one side. Appreciating all that you see there. Turn to the other side. Appreciate all that you see there. That dome is beautiful. The stained glass is beautiful. Even this plain yellow wall. And the people that you see. Come to the center. With one foot forward. We're going to just do a simple sweeping movement. And let's blend in everything that we've talked about today. First, we're parting the clouds, clearing the air, making room for appreciation, making room to be filled with gratitude, clearing the air all around us, healing the air. Well-healed air is what we all need and want right now. Oh, and to the other side, other foot out. It's about balance. Remember, knees slightly bent. Remembering to breathe symbolically and actually clearing the air. You're a human deionizer now. And come to the center with your arms in front of you, palms up. Bring those palms to you and around, kind of like a backstroke. And you're bringing gifts to you. Gifts of love, gifts of thanks, healing, health, and love. And we're going to take our hands, put them about 4 inches apart, one 4 inches from your belly, the other about 4 inches from the other hand. And let's just move our hands up and down in a slow, narrow circle. In Qigong, we're spreading, we're equalizing, we're taking the yin and the yang, the male and female energy, blending them and achieving and receiving the best, extracting the best of both. We're balancing our emotions, our health, our life. And stop with both hands. Open your hands. And with that space between your two hands, create a ball. That ball of love and gratitude that you've been working on since 9 o'clock this morning. And concentrate it. It's your ball of concentrated love and gratitude. And bring that ball first to your heart. And breathe into it. And take that ball, lift it up, and give it away to the universe. In gratitude and healing and love. And we're going to do a sweep up to Mother Earth. Once again, through your heart. Give that to Mother Earth. Palms above your head, pointing down, slowly over your body to your heart, and have a seat. I'm going to lead us through a short guided meditation. Then you'll hear the gong, and then there'll be a YouTube to watch, so I encourage you to just stay with us. And then we'll just do a 30-second closing non-circle. So I like to meditate, but whatever's comfortable for you, because many of you are experienced meditators, I like to have my hands palms up on my knees, and I like to put my tongue to the roof of my mouth as I'm breathing. So as we take in a deep breath, and several deep breaths, think about breathing in through your nose, the air circulating through your lungs, into your bloodstream, down to your feet, up the front of your body, engulfing your whole body with deep, clean air. And with the next breath, imagine your circulatory system doing the same thing. Arteries pushing clean blood through your body, veins receiving. And then imagine with the next breaths surrounding your entire body in light. Healing light, protective light, as if in a womb, the protective womb of mothers. And in this safe, secure space, imagine the light of your heart, the glow of your heart. And imagine the glow from your feet coming from Mother Earth. And extend both of those in front of you so that they merge and they reach out beyond your body and engulf everyone around you, everyone in the United States, everyone on Mother Earth, and all of your ancestors in the universe. And just sit here in a moment of silence and appreciation and gratitude for this big ball of love.